Hi. Um, yeah, awesome. I see a lot of people in the chat, 83 people. That's amazing. I know it's quite early for some of you guys out there in the US, so thank you for being here. And yeah, so my name is Tiago, and I'll be giving a short presentation about what I've done in life in regards to Lego. And I hope you find it enjoyable. And after the presentation that I'm giving to you guys, I'll open up the forum for a Q&A session, because above all, I want to be able to talk with you guys and to answer all of your questions. So yeah, my name is Tiago and I'm from Portugal, this small country over here in Europe. And it's a country best known for an amazing guy called Cristiano Ronaldo. He's the best soccer player in the world, and Portuguese folks are very proud of having him as a superstar, and I am as well. And I have some inspiration from him as well, because he's a very hardworking man. So yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo, a lot of you hopefully have heard about him. And yeah, and Lego has been present in my life from a very early on age. There was this Christmas where my mom took me to the toy shop and gave me like a budget and said, here you can have this money and you can choose whatever you want from the toy shop. And these are the two Lego boxes that I pick. I decided to pick Lego because it sounded like fun, and from there things didn't really stop until later on, when I was a teenager, of course. And then I kept hearing that, oh, Tiago, you're too old to be playing with Lego. So I had my dark age, like most of you probably. And after that, I went into college, into university, and I had to do this research I had to do a research for some project that I had, and I wanted to make it about Lego because it was my toy of choice when I was a kid. And then while searching for images, I came across, I think it was this exact image, this massive spaceship, The Carrier by Daniel Jassim. And I was completely blown away, because the Lego I remembered as a kid were like small boxes, like the ones I showed before, small kits that I could build with instructions. But this was a whole new level for me that I have never seen before. So, and this is where I found out about the AFOL community out there in the world. So I did some research around my area, and then I found about a community, a Lego users group that was existing in Portugal at the time, and still is. It's Comunidade 0937. If you notice, it's like Lego the other way around if you twist the numbers around. So yeah, I joined this community, and then I started. This was actually the first mock that I shared in there. I was very much into space and video games and whatnot and sci-fi stuff. So this is the Lego mock that I first presented there after my dark age. And I was quite proud of it, after being after being so much time away from Lego. So I was quite proud. And then I get to meet a lot of amazing people and started sharing some of my builds. And yeah, as time progressed, I started following a lot of AFOLs out there in the world. So I started learning a lot of techniques and trying to incorporate them into my builds and into my mocks. And as you can see in some of those pictures, I liked to bend bricks a lot. And yeah, as time went by, I learned, improved my photography skills and my building skills as well. And these are some of the latest mocks that I did when I was actively participating in my Lego users group. Yeah, in my Lego users group, there was this guy called Marcus Bessa. I'm guessing nobody ever heard about this guy, but he was a guy there at my Lego users group, and he managed to score a job at Lego. And at the time, I wasn't even aware that working for Lego was something that you could actually do for a living. But there was this guy at my lug, which made, after he got hired, made some Lego sets that nobody ever heard about, I'm probably sure. Yeah, you know, boring stuff. And then 1 year later or 2 years later, there was another guy from also my Lego users group. This guy's name is Ricardo, and he also got hired into Lego, and he has been working most of his time there in Lego Friends, but he was also the designer of the Flintstones Lego Ideas set. And the fact that these guys got into Lego got me thinking that, yeah, maybe I should try to do this, and I could possibly try to get a job at Lego, because it was my childhood dream, you know, getting a job at Lego. Tiago, as a kid, had no idea that you could work for Lego, you know. I thought it was like robots or something that did the kids. But no, there was actually real people behind it. So what I did was gather some of my, some of the pictures actually that I showed before, some of my mocks, and made a portfolio. And then in 2015, there was a job opening for model designers, and I applied. I sent my portfolio. Lego really liked it, and then they called me back for a Skype interview. That also went fine. So I went for a 2-day workshop at Billund in Denmark. That also went super fine. So after a few days, after going to the workshop in Billund, I got a call from Andy, the guy who hired me, and I got a job as a Lego designer. And the team I was hired for was Creator 3-in-1. And this is actually a group photo that we took back in the days where Creator 3-in-1 still used to have this awesome page and some designer bios that you could check. And I'm that guy over there holding the Lego popcorn. And it was amazing. This team was amazing. I got into a team of superstars from left to right. First, there's Morten, who designed the holiday train for Creator Expert. Then there's me. Then there's the girl, Gemma. She designed the Women of NASA Lego Ideas set. There's Andy in the middle. He was my manager at the time, and he designed the dark green Mini Cooper, also for Lego Expert. Then there's the other Morten. He designed the London bus. Then Mike Saiki is a crazy guy, genius in my eyes, and he designed some very cool models like the Mustang for Creator Expert, the Manchester United Stadium, the Saturn V rocket, Harley Davidson, the diner from the modular line. So a lot of crazy good stuff. And then there's John, who also designed the holiday train station for the Winter Village series, and also Steamboat Willie for Lego Ideas. I had the best time in my life over there. It was really a dream job. Most of the time it was actually building Lego and designing cool play experiences for kids, and that for me was crazy, you know. Getting paid to play with Lego all day was like it was really awesome. And usually if you are working for Creator 3-in-1, some of the first tasks or design tasks that you might actually get is designing alternative models, because like most of you probably know, Creator 3-in-1 is known for doing the 3-in-1 sets, which is like you have like a main model in a box, but then you also get alternative models like a B and C model, and you also get instructions for those. So you get all the instructions in the same box for the 3 different sets, and you get a real good sense of what you can do with the rig. So the first design test that I had was actually designing some of alternative models, like this forklift over here, which was an alternative model for a blue supercar that a colleague of mine, Jeremy, was working on. So this was actually my first design task. And after a few months, I got tasked with my first Lego set. that I completely designed on my own from start to finish. And it was this one, the modular poolside holiday. It was fun, it was super challenging, changing my mindset from AFOL, which you can build whatever you want, the way you want, but when working for Lego, there's a certain set of rules that you need to follow, and in order to create awesome play experiences for kids. So there was a learning curve, but I think after some time I got used to it, and now it's part of me. And these are some of other creator three-in-one models that I have designed. The last two ones that I showed, like the stunt plane and then the truck with the space shuttle in the back, were actually some of the last sets that I designed when I was working for Lego, because I was working for Lego for 3.5 years, and then I left. But I'll talk about that in a little bit. I am very proud of some of sets that I designed. Well, of all of them, but some of these you might know better than others, which was the ship in a bottle. I was the Lego designer tasked with designing the ship in a bottle, and I was very, very proud of this one. And of course, the original submission by Jake Sedovich was amazing, an amazing idea that Lego, of course, decided to turn it into a Lego Ideas project, which I'm guessing most of you know how it works, right? There's this Lego Ideas platform where fans can submit their own ideas. And then if the ideas get to 10,000 votes, then Lego will look into those and think about, okay, could we possibly turn this into a Lego product? And the ship in a bottle from Jake Sedovich was an amazing idea, got to 10,000 votes really quickly. So Lego decided to do it, and I was the Lego designer tasked designing it. Lego designers usually have some fun while designing sets because they'll try to incorporate some Easter eggs here and there. So in the wax seal in the front there, there's my initials, TC, and I also managed to sneak in a Portuguese flag back there in the back of the ship. And another model that you guys probably know about that I was actually very, very proud of designing was also the gingerbread house. It was a funny story because I actually got to shoot the designer video for this one while I was not working for Lego anymore. But I really wanted to do it because I was really proud of this model, and I wanted to give my face and put my face into this model. So after I left Lego in July of 2019, I went back there a couple of weeks later because they have only scheduled this for a couple of weeks later, unfortunately. So I went there, shoot the video, and yeah, that was my last official business with Lego. After 3.5 years, me and my family had to make an hard decision because I had a wife, I had 2 small kids that we had in Denmark, and my wife was also Portuguese. She came with me, she went with me to Denmark, and she wasn't actually super happy while living in Denmark. Denmark is an amazing country to live in, don't get me wrong, but she simply wasn't too happy over there, and she was also missing her family a lot. Also, having 2 kids was a bit hard on us because we didn't have any family support. So yeah, there weren't like dates that we could do, just the 2 of us, me and my wife. So yeah, as much as I loved the job that I was doing, it came to a point where my family wasn't that happy anymore. So yeah, we decided to leave Denmark. It was a super hard decision, but one that had to be made because, yeah, my family wasn't happy there, even though I was. So, yeah, knowing that I would leave Denmark and I would leave the job, we had some really nice perks while being employees for Lego, which we had access to the employee store, which has Lego at 50% off the price. So this here is the collection that I was able to amass over the 3.5 years that I was working there. And yeah, when I knew that I was going to leave Denmark, I tried to buy as much as I could to bring along with me to Portugal. So these are all the boxes that I managed to bring with me from Denmark. and 5 of those boxes were actually assorted bricks that took me a few months to sort. Leaving the Lego, leaving my dream job wasn't an easy decision, and then coming back to Portugal wasn't also easy, because what am I going to do now? You know, I've been doing my dream job for 3.5 years, so what can top that off? I didn't want to go back to my old job because I knew that after working for Lego, that wouldn't make me very happy. So I had this idea. I was watching a lot of YouTube, like the big YouTubers that all of you guys know, like Bricks and some others. And I felt that maybe there's something here for me, because my previous job was doing like video editing, video effects and stuff like that. And so I knew about video. I knew a few things about Lego, you know, having been a designer for 3.5 years. And in Creator 3-in-1, we used to do some building tips online. And it struck me really hard, one of the brainstorms that we had while we were, while I was still working for Lego, because every now and then we would do some of these building tips to share on YouTube. And it hit me really hard, knowing that a tutorial that one of the guys had made and put on YouTube had, it was like a toilet or something very simple, and it had hundreds of thousands of views, like a toilet, a video of someone building a toilet, a Lego toilet. And I was like, okay, I think this is something that I could do. So yeah, that was my plan. Crazy plan, but we had some savings from Denmark, so that allowed me to focus on this crazy idea for at least a year. When we came back to Portugal, my wife was working, so we weren't doing anything crazy that put our family at risk. And then we decided, okay, you have 1 year to try this YouTube thing and to make it work. So that's what I did. I picked all of this Lego and started my YouTube channel. And yeah, the sorting took me a few months. And when I first started my channel, I did videos like I left my dream job at Lego and unboxing all my Lego and sorting updates and all that. But what I really wanted to do was teach people how to build cool stuff with their Lego bricks. So like the building tip of the toilet, I wanted to do simple stuff like that. But in order to do that, I had to sort all of that Lego. So for a couple of months, I wasn't able to do anything more than just sort all my Lego. And then January, I started uploading daily. I started uploading daily videos where I did tutorials and I showed people how to build like simple stuff like furniture pieces, outside pieces like vehicles and stuff. And you also can see here some thumbnails of some crazy stuff that I did, like Lego food, and there's a cake and there's chocolate bar and then the swag glasses. And it was a lot of fun. Yeah, and after I sorted all my Lego and put my collection in those drawer cabinets over there, I had a really nice studio to start working on. And yeah, this is like a collection of, I think these are the tips for the month of March that I did. So you can see a lot of different stuff in a lot of different themes. And for me as a YouTuber, I thought that in order to make this work, I have to work as hard as I can, and I have to be super consistent, because in order for you to achieve something on YouTube, they always say that you need to be super consistent. And for me, super consistent would be like to post daily. It was a crazy rhythm, but I did that nonetheless from January till August, till I finally took some vacation. So from January till August, I did daily videos of teaching people how to build stuff or Lego. And those were more than 200 videos. And I did this while also, oh yeah, and here you can see an example of what the tips look like. So I'll just show it for a little bit. And usually a white background of me building stuff. So I invite you all to check my channel afterwards and subscribing, please. Yeah, and some videos are simple stuff like this. Other videos are vehicles. I've been doing some larger videos where I do like castle stuff and houses. So it's fun. I actually have a lot of fun while doing this. And while doing this, I was also writing some articles for BrickCon. I was also writing articles for Zusammengebaut, a Lego fan site from Germany. I was also managing my Instagram page, my Facebook page. I also made a Lego Ideas project on Animal Crossing. So it was a crazy rhythm, and in between there was a pandemic happening. So from March till July, it was crazy keeping up with the rhythm because we were stuck at home. Me, my wife, and my 2 kids, and my wife was working from home. So I was the one taking care of the kids. So in order for me to do the videos and manage all of this stuff, I was using like their naps or working at night so that I could keep this consistency, because it was really important and I really wanted this project to work, because like I said before, I have a year to make this work. If I got $1 from YouTube, that for me would be the proof that, okay, this works. If you can get $1, you can get 10, 100, and 1,000 somewhere down the line. But things worked really well. The reception for the YouTube videos were really amazing. So after a few months, actually a few days before I was doing my first anniversary on YouTube, I got to 100,000 subscribers, and a few weeks later I got my silver play button that you can see on the right. And of course, being a Lego channel and being a Lego tutorial channel that I owned, of course I had to make the Lego version of the silver play button. And yeah, that's a short, hopefully, story of how I got into Lego and my journey with Lego throughout the times. And yeah, so now I want to open the Q&A part of the presentation. So feel free to ask me anything. If it's something like related to Lego that I can't discuss, then I won't. Sorry about that, but feel free to ask anything that you would like. And I'm hoping that Naomi and Sean might help with this.
All right. So we have quite a few questions.
Okay.
All right. So
Sean, I'm having
one
some
of
trouble
the first
listening to you.
questions that was asked was, do you still have the 2 original sets that you purchased?
Okay, I heard that, yeah. If I have them, I have some pieces. There was this time in around 2004 where Lego changed the colors, changed the grays actually from old gray to the new grays that we have nowadays. And back in the day when I got back into Lego and I was an AFOL, I was also a university student at the same time, so broke. I didn't have a lot of Lego, so what did I do? I decided to sell the least useful pieces to me that I had in order to buy newer Lego sets. So all of the old gray from those 2 sets that I showed first were sold along with some of the animals and some of the most valuable pieces, so that I could buy myself some Creator 3-in-1 sets, which had a lot of useful pieces to me at the time. So no, I still have some pieces, but not the complete sets.
All right, I've switched over to another device, so hopefully it doesn't have the issues.
Yes, I hear you perfect now.
I know you mentioned the reason you left Lego, but in seeing other designers, is it mostly burnout for people leaving, or is it just you've done enough time there?
It can be a lot of different factors for a lot of different people. For me, it was mainly, yeah, personal life that got in a way, in the way of my dream job, because my wife wasn't really happy by leaving there. She wasn't working for Lego. She was working for another company, but it took her a lot of time to get that job. So I guess for most of her time there, she didn't quite fit in with the culture and with the people. We did know a lot of foreign people, like we were there, and there were a lot of Portuguese folks as well, which we met regularly. But she wasn't happy in Denmark, mostly because she didn't feel like she was fitting in, and also we had the two small kids, and it was becoming a burden. Yeah, not having like the grandparents around, you know, to help during a weekend that we were like, I don't know, a bit more tired. So there were a lot of factors in there. It had nothing to do with the job itself. I loved my job, and if it depended on me, I would have stayed there for at least, I don't know, not until I retired, but a lot more years than I stayed there. But for other people, it can be a lot of different factors. Some people just don't like the job anymore, or they want to pursue other things. But there's a lot of people who are leaving because, yeah, their spouses or their husbands not fitting in Denmark. Yeah, but that was the case for us, not burnout in any way.
All right. One of the other questions that came up, especially with you being on the 3-in-1 team,
Yeah.
when you design the main model, does the main model change depending on the parts requirements for the secondary models?
Sometimes. Usually, yeah, you will design the main model, and from there you will design B and C model. So you see what pieces do you have, and then go from there. But sometimes, in order to make the B model or the C model, you actually end up feeling that, oh, I'm really missing like a 2x4 plate or whatever element. And sometimes we go back, or we went back into the main model to change it so that it could have this piece that would make the B or C model work later on. So it was a lot of back and forth, but usually it all started with the main model, and then from there we would go to B and C models. But yeah, and sometimes that happened where you really needed a piece to make the B or C models work, and then you would go back to the A model and change it.
All right. And when designing the sets, how much information are you given when designing it, or do you have an open slate to design whatever you want?
There's a couple of phases while designing sets in Lego, and there's usually once a year there's this brainstorm phase where we all of the designers from from our team, for instance, Creator 3-in-1, and the manager and some higher ups try to come up with ideas and pitch in what we would feel like make for great models. So there's a lot of building, a lot of sketch building. And so we usually made and built lots and lots of stuff. And then it was the job of the manager and some higher ups to look at all of the things that we had built and choose, okay, let's go for this car and for this house and for this whatever. So it wasn't like completely a clean slate, but at the same time, during the brainstorm phase, we could pitch in our own ideas for what we thought that could be cool models. I hope that answers the question.
Also, just I know there's an echo on the line, so
Okay.
I think I'll ask the next question. What are the biggest constraints when you're designing sets versus being an AFOL? You mentioned this in reference to the poolside holiday.
Yeah, I guess I think everybody heard about like illegal techniques and things that you shouldn't be. Well, when you're working for Lego, there's a whole guide of And I think this is public knowledge as well. It's a presentation that Jamie Barrar did a couple of years ago. There's this PDF going around, so some of you might know about it. And there's this rule book of things that you are not allowed to build that stress the elements and whatnot. So as a fan design, as a fan builder, as an AFOL, you don't care too much like about model stability, and for me at least, it was all about like taking a nice picture and then sharing it on Flickr for my colleagues on my lug to see. So there wasn't too much care about like stability or playability and whatnot. So those are all some of the, not restriction, but some guidelines that you need to follow, because it's not the same building a mock as it is when you are building a Lego set. And you guys probably had that experience while building a Lego set. You can kind of see that there's a certain order for things. There's the Lego bricks are usually interlocked, so it's very uncommon that things will fall off when you are playing with it. So those are some of the restrictions slash guidelines that we had to follow through. So for me, with the background of being an AFOL, that was like the mindset that I had to change, because I was used to building, illegal stuff, unstable stuff, and I had to, to switch gears to making like stable stuff that you can pick and that doesn't break off, and that, kids can have fun while playing.
Okay, great. How do you request the creation of a new piece or a piece in a new color? Can you describe what frames are in the Lego designing process?
Yeah, each team is given a certain number of frames, so it could be like color changes. For Creator 3-in-1, it was usually color changes, because usually Creator 3-in-1 never did like new elements, new shaped elements. So Creator 3-in-1 always used existing elements, but we were allowed to do some color changes. So that's how it works. Like every team is given a certain number of frames that they can use as they see fit to enhance, to make better models. And sometimes, for Creator 3-in-1, that usually would mean like making color changes, making existing bricks in different colors so that the models would work. So that was basically it. And other teams have like different numbers and frames so that they could do like new elements, like the new Star Wars head mold or whatever. So so there were some kind of restrictions, but teams were given a certain number of color changes that they were allowed to do.
Okay, great. Thank you. With Ship in a Bottle, there were a lot of compromises you had to make based on the original fan design, like having to rotate it at 45 degrees, for example. Can you talk about the process of how you made those decisions and what were the most important challenging ones?
If you guys remember, Jake Sadovich's submission was a really huge bottle. So that was the first problem right there. It was that the bottle itself was too big and therefore a bit unstable. If you were to pick it up, you could like crush the walls in because it wasn't that well supported. That was like the main constraint and the main challenge with the set, and that's why the set changed so much from what the original submission was and what the end product turned out to be. And because the shape of the bottle changed so much, that meant that inside we couldn't no longer have such a big and detailed ship like Jake Sadovich had. So the size of the bottle was like the big thing. And from there, everything changed a little bit, like the size of the bottle and then the base. we also we tried to have the bottle, the bottle that I designed at a 45-degree angle, but then there wasn't like any way of making like a stable and secure connection to have the ship in there. So that's why we have to turn it 45 degrees, so it would be stay flat with a support. But yeah, for that one in particular, it was mainly like the size of the thing. And then Jake also had a lot of strings, for instance, in the ship, but there wasn't an easy way to do that. And the strings that Jake Sadovich used in his idea were like put around the bars and Lego bars and whatnot. And we also explored that possibility in order to have it as close as possible to Jake's submission, but there wasn't really any way to show how to do this with a string to have all of the strings on our ship as well. So yeah, it was a challenging build, and I know that it's quite different from the original submission, but I think in the end we captured, or we tried to capture as much as possible the original submission in the best way that we could possibly do, that would turn into a great not play, but mainly a building experience for people who got the set. And I believe we did a really nice job, because I think you guys might have heard of the news that the ship in a bottle, after being out of the market since the beginning of the year, is coming back along with the Saturn V. So that goes to show that the idea was crazy good, and that the design that myself and the design team over at Lego Ideas did was nice, I guess, in order for the set to be coming back to shelves later this year.
Yes, we're very excited about that. In fact, I missed out on Ship in a Bottle, so I'm excited about getting that. And
now there's this chance.
Here, I'm going to hopefully get a signature from you someday.
Yeah.
All right.
Next
question has to do with the gingerbread house. Why did you put the fireplace so it's facing the outside?
Like facing outside and inside.
Right.
We thought that it was a shame just to have such a nice detail only on the inside. And then while doing research, we also saw this happening like outside and inside chimneys, not chimneys, but fireplaces, not being that uncommon as well. And actually the concept model for the gingerbread house wasn't actually done by me, it was done by another designer. And that's something that happens a lot of times at Lego, where you sometimes don't get to design the set from start to finish. Sometimes, like on the brainstorm phase that I was talking before, I would probably make, I don't know, a car, and then maybe a colleague of mine would take over. And that was also the case with the gingerbread house. The original sketch of the gingerbread house had that two-way facing fireplace, and nobody ever complained about it. And we kind of felt that it was a nice detail to have, also something really nice to show on the front of the box. And also the mechanism that lights up the fireplace is also cool, and that the fact you can see it both from outside and the inside. It was a design decision to just keep it, because it offered a lot more than just being like super realistic and only having the fireplace on the inside. And it's like Wonderland in the way, because we're talking about gingerbread house that Mr. Gingerbread and Mrs. Gingerbread live in. So it's kind of a fantasy world there. So there's no wrong answers, I guess.
Well, that's one of my favorite sets personally, especially the little gingerbread baby, the 1x2 printed tile.
Yeah, yes.
So another question is, how do you come up with so many ideas for tutorials on YouTube? And what is an idea you would like to do, but think it might be too difficult for your audience on YouTube?
Okay. Sometimes I wonder that myself. And when I was doing daily videos from January till August, there were some days where I had no idea what I was going to build that day. But usually Google easier friend. So sometimes the first few months I stuck to like furniture pieces and maybe some outside stuff like playground items and whatnot. And then when I was running out of ideas, I went to Google to find like objects and stuff like that, or furniture. And then I stumbled across a supermarket stuff. So from there, I made a whole series about supermarket, little details you could build. So it was usually like that. And like towards July, August, I was like running out of ideas for like minifig scale stuff. So I started doing like turning objects, real life objects, into like life-sized scale objects, like the food that was in the thumbnail on the presentation, like some glasses or some games like a Rubik's Cube. So I don't know, maybe Google, maybe I have something messed up in my head. Yeah, but right now I'm not doing like daily videos anymore. I'm taking it easy, or a bit more easy now, and doing like less videos per week, but longer videos. And this allows me to do like bigger builds that I wasn't able to do before, because imagine trying to do a full house on a daily video schedule. It was crazy, and back then I couldn't possibly do it. So like changing my schedule now and making less videos per week allows me to do like bigger stuff, like houses that I made in the past. I also have done like a castle series where I'm building some parts of a castle, like castle walls and castle corners and the castle gate and whatnot. And there's a lot of stuff that I still want to do. I have a whole notebook with ideas there. So I don't think my builds are challenging for the audience, because I try to do them as simple as possible, and usually thinking about, okay, these are some common pieces that people might have at home. So I try not to overcomplicate things and just do simple stuff whenever I can with simple bricks that possibly people have around their collection. So that's my mindset when designing stuff for the tutorials.
Okay, great. I think this last set of questions will probably be our last. We have 3 minutes left in the session.
Okay.
Were you able to make the silver play button out of drum lacquered silver bricks? And if more drum lacquered bricks came out, would you build another one with those?
Probably not. I didn't do them in drum lacquered. It was like gray, light bluish gray and dark bluish gray. If I had drum lacquered, maybe I would do it. I don't think at this point I would purchase drum lacquered stuff to make it like the real thing. But at 1 million subscribers, you get a golden play button. So by the time that I get 1 million subscribers, and if there's a lot of golden bricks around, that I could probably do a golden play button out of Lego bricks, then when I have 1 million subscribers, I will probably be able to purchase enough to make the gold play button.
Okay, great. Well, you actually answered that one pretty quickly. So I think we can maybe squeeze in one more. Any tips on moving a decent sized Lego collection without losing pieces? Somebody is moving next year.
Okay. We used a moving company, and that turned out really well. I was really scared, actually, because like moving that big collection, and some sets in there were valuable. So I was a bit scared, but the moving company did an awesome job. I packed all of the Lego myself in all of those boxes, and I tried to secure them as much as possible inside. So, and I don't think I've missed pieces, especially not the sealed boxes. I didn't lose any of those, and yeah, maybe a few pieces might have fell off the boxes from the assorted bricks, but yeah, as far as I can see, I didn't miss anything. So a moving company, that's what I did, but I packed all of the Lego myself. Thanks for having me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.